What up, people? You know what time it is. It's RJ Fantasy Football Talk, and we are back again. Week 7. I'm Jay. It's Rodney. What's going on, bro?
Hey, what is up? We're at the midpoint of the year, so it's time to tell what's the truth and what's not. So I'm looking forward to it. It was not my best week. In my 9 leagues, I won 3 games and I got robbed in one of them for certain. uh, as I know, that I am 0-7 in our Gridiron League.
We know.
Um,
We
and
know.
I had the win. We played. Was wait for him to chime in. Jasper Lewis, the senior, was my opponent, and he called me like Thursday or something, or when? No, I guess it was maybe Friday or Saturday, whatever day, Sunday. I don't care. It doesn't matter.
Hmm.
To let me know that it's a shame that I chose him to be my first win, and my team went down in the dumps ever since that phone call, and I lost by 2 points. And
Wow.
this is the third time this year I've lost a game by 2 points in that league. So I'm gonna call
Well,
shenanigans on you, my brother. Say your league is rigged, just to
why
make me
everybody want to
look bad.
blame me? I mean, look, just because I'm sitting at 6-1 and I got a 200-point lead,
Right?
don't
Yeah,
blame
yeah.
me. You
Mighty
know,
funny that you're in first place and I'm in last place.
hey,
Uh, and I'm just gonna say you rigged it. I don't know how you
nah,
did it.
you know why? Because
Uh huh.
I did something. I went back to the way I drafted. I
What that
went
got to
back
do
to the
with me?
pedigree that got me here, and I just went back to I stuck to my guns. I said, look, I'm not gonna let people get me out of my draft. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
gonna go wide receiver crazy. I'm gonna go get my running backs, and I'm gonna be happy with it. And I got two of the best running backs in the NFL, not even
Mm-hmm.
just fantasy, but in the NFL. And they do work on a weekly basis. So in that league, I picked up Kareem Hunt, I got Nick Chubb,
Yeah.
I got Saquon, I got Bijan Robinson, I got Jameer Gibbs. I mean, I got four and then I got Chuba Herbert. I got five good running backs, man. Good receivers too, but my running backs they carry me, man. You know,
And
just saying.
meanwhile, I've got a team of all scrubs. But we gonna turn this thing around. I don't know how we gonna turn it around, but we
Okay.
gonna turn it around. I'm not gonna give up. If that's the great thing at midpoint of the season, 0-7 might be a stretch, but if you have a losing record at mid season, it ain't no really bad thing. You can always turn the joke around.
Turn
If
it
you've
around.
only won 2 or 3 games, you still have a shot at winning the league. 0-7 is going to be a struggle, but I'm trying to at least make the playoffs or knock somebody else out the playoffs. Because what did they say? Misery loves company.
That's right.
So
You
we'll,
better
we'll
believe
see
it.
if I can make somebody else miserable because apparently it's been bad. But anyway, enough about me and my terrible teams. How did you do in fantasy this week?
I went 6-0 this week.
You hate your guts. I just want you to know
Just say, I mean, I went 6-0. I won all my games this week. It was beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing, I tell you. Um, I won in the dynasty league. I don't know how I keep winning in the dynasty, but I put up the most points again in the dynasty league.
that.
And I just, I'd be balling,
Uh huh. Ever since you declared you were tanking for Shador, you've been winning games.
I
So
just don't know what the problem is, man.
I think
I've
your
been
tanking strategy is going down.
I have probably the worst strategy of tanking, man, because I find it weird that my team is actually coming together now. I have a pretty decent team over there now. All I
Uh-huh.
needed was some good quarterback play, and now,
Russell Wilson gave it to you this week.
but I figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
You talk. I said, figured it out. It's the defensive players. I got some really good defensive players, and they putting
Yeah.
up numbers.
Oh, now we on defense.
So
Okay.
I was like, wait a minute. I say, this is crazy. I was like, I got defensive players putting up 30 points. My kicker put up
Uh-huh.
61 points. I was like, yo, this is nuts. I was like, so I figured it out. So that's why I'm winning over there. And,
Uh-huh.
it's working for me. Now, am I going to keep winning? We don't know that. It could happen, but we don't know. Now, I'm probably what, 2 spots out of eighth right now?
Yeah, yeah.
Out of six, I think I could make the playoffs if I keep
Yeah.
winning.
I
You know,
mean, hey, it's it's realistic for anybody to make. Like I said, at this point, unless you're 0-7 like me, you can do anything. Welcome, Relena Lewis, to the show, taking her first L in the comedy club, Uptown Comedy Club. If you're in Atlanta, check it out. What about our producer? What's going on with your fantasy teams?
3-1.
Okay.
Yeah.
3-1 is, look, I won 3 out of 9, so 3 out of 4.
Yeah. The loss I had was not where I wanted the loss. I was in the defensive league. I lost bad.
Yeah.
Sadly, a lot of my defensive players are on IR, which is rare because that doesn't really happen.
Yeah. The way this season's going, if you don't have a player on IR, the fantasy gods have been very kind to you. I've lost like a whole team of players across my league.
I believe it. Yeah, but I got my number 1 spot back at Dynasty, so I guess that's what I'm rooting for now. I guess I don't know.
I mean, I did. I had a lot of players on IR. But I'm starting to get them back now, and my team is starting to look like all the way healthy again, and it's going to be dangerous for some people. Now, like in the church league, I'm on like a 3 or 4 game winning streak. I'm back in first place in the division. I'm good. I just my biggest one is the barbershop. I'm sitting in like 6th spot right now. Yeah. I'm in the playoffs, but I don't feel comfortable. I need to win some more.
The barbershop is like 1 out of 2 teams I have that are 3 teams. I have 3 teams that are performing good to, I wouldn't even say any of them are great, but good to very good. So that the barbershop is one of them. The comedy club team is doing all right, I would say. And then I have my defensive league team. Suspect, but not as doing as well as it did last year. But I got 3 teams that I'm kind of targeting. The rest of them just suck on ice. Hey, welcome Keisha to the show. Yeah. Good to have you with us, representing from the Women's Fantasy Football League. Who's winning over there? I don't even know. How's that? Do you know off the top of your head who the best team is?
I want to say Angela.
Yeah, I know she was the champ the first year.
I know she's 5-2 because I beat her shockingly.
Okay.
But I think she might be number 1, and then it's like a butt ton of us is tied for 2nd.
Yeah.
And then the rest is in 3rd, and then you have those at the bottom.
Yeah, it's kind of like that across most leagues this year because it's been so crazy with like injuries and underperforming guys. We're going to do our mid-season awards, and so we'll talk about who's been good, and we're definitely going to talk about who's been bad. But since it's been that kind of year, a lot of teams are really grouped together, a bunch of the leagues I'm in.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Well. So we have 2 tied for first.
Okay.
It's Angela and Tracy, and then we have 3 that's in 3rd. And then everyone else is 6, and then I won't say.
Keisha says she's 4-3, so all right.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a good record.
Sounds like it's anybody's good league.
You ain't lying.
At least, look, you're not 0-7, so whatever.
I tell you.
Did I mention I hate fantasy football? I hate fantasy football.
Put it like
this. Speaking of that, has anyone? Y'all need to check out the R&J fantasy football Instagram post.
Oh,
because that might show the expression of how he feels about that. So
yeah.
If you're on Instagram, check it out because to me, I think it's a hilarious post and it sums up what I've been hearing. Pretty much all weekend, this past weekend.
Just the weekend?
Huh? What'd you say?
Look, just the weekend? Or...
Well, yeah, I've been hearing it since, what happened, but I just thought I'd, keep it.
My best week of fantasy football this year was the week before the draft when I thought I had a great strategy.
Wow, that's bad now.
It's been all downhill since then.
Oh my God.
Yeah, between his fantasy football team and the Raiders, I've been hearing it.
Yeah, so anyway.
But you know what? I'll just throw this out there real quick. But this week, I put money on it. Your Raiders are going to show up big because guess who they're playing?
They're playing the Chiefs. It's one of the few games they actually care about.
No, I know, kid you not. The Raiders always show up when they play the Chiefs.
They do show up for that game, but I'm gonna just predict they still gonna suck because there's a little bit of let's say trash talk that happened in this offseason. If y'all don't know, one of the rookies for the Raiders pulled out Kermit the Frog doll with a little funky fro on it. Made some derogatory comments about Mr. Mahomes.
Yes, it was.
Though Mahomes has been not great this year, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that they've been marking this game on their calendar, and
Probably.
the Raiders have heck to pay, especially since going back to injuries. Aiden O'Connell's out, and so we're back to Gardner Minshew. So it's nothing but bad things for the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, y'all don't have the best offensive stuff going, but I kid you not, that defense is gonna play like they've never played before.
So
I hope so. And I want to say, Sydney, congratulations on the win this week. I called it.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
I called it.
The Raiders. The Chiefs and the 49ers had a game this week.
So I called it week. And they're on Instagram, not Instagram, but Twitter, complaining about holding calls. And the one play they're complaining about,
the sideline play.
They're complaining about that it's not fair because people scared to hit Mahomes on the sideline. So my thing is this: all y'all stupid, because if he's 10 yards down the field pump faking you ought to be that defender needs to look stupid. So no, I don't feel bad for them because I called it last week and I don't want to hear it. I don't. We lost.
You say that, and I'm gonna just throw this out there. Every team that's played the Chiefs so far this season has a complaint about refs not calling stuff. So just add another team to the collection.
So I don't feel bad, and I just want to. But I called it last week. I'm not gonna sit here.
You called the loss.
I called it, and people thought I was crazy, but it is what it is. I'm not gonna, say whatever, but what can you say? We lost. And again.
I find it crazy that Kyle Shanahan has never beat Andy Reid, and it's like, wow, that's. I mean, especially with he's had some teams that you would now this week I can kind of get that the 49ers are losing like everybody on the team at some incredible rate, but still.
I mean, but that's a whole. If I had a whole show to talk about, I would tell you the comma how all this is happening. But we ain't got enough time.
We don't have that kind of time.
Yeah, so we're gonna move on.
Want to hit to some news?
Yes.
Let's go. What's in the news?
Bryce Young is back at the quarterback position, the starting quarterback for Carolina this week, because Andy Dalton got into a car accident.
Yeah.
With him, his wife, and his kids. They're fine, but I think he has a sprained thumb.
Yeah, sprained his thumb.
So. And they don't know when he is going to return. So Bryce Young is back. He got a chance to regain his job and keep it. But we're going to see how that plays out.
Yeah. Andy Dalton started off hot, but it's kind of gone cold. So it was some people calling for them to switch it back anyway. So this gives them a reason to do it that doesn't necessarily put Andy Dalton in a bad light. So we'll see what Bryce Young, see if he's learned anything in the few weeks he's been on the sideline. Are you putting Bryce Young in your starter? Probably not.
No. In
a 2-quarterback league, would you put Bryce Young in your starting lineup if you need a bye week replacement? No.
My quarterback's not on bye, so no.
If.
No. Not even. No,
all right, what else you got?
So we know Tom Brady just got ownership. 10% ownership. Was it 10% ownership of the Raiders?
Yeah, I think it's 10.
Okay, 10% ownership of the Raiders. But now the owners are saying that it may end his TV gig.
Still, yeah.
I don't know the whole story behind it, but they're saying it may be a conflict of interest.
I mean, it's crazy because it came up before, and they said, nah, it'll be cool. He'll still be able to do, because they're saying he might not be able to do certain games and blah, blah, blah. Now something coming up with like teams being able to waive Tom Brady's access for certain whatevers. So we'll see how it goes. Look, if he can't get that thing going, he can just dedicate himself full time to making the Raiders better, because we need that Tom Brady magic. So
I mean,
let's see how it goes.
I I have never seen where a TV analyst was part owner of a team. This is like first
some new ground they're breaking.
Yeah. So it's like they probably don't know how to navigate this situation yet. So it's like, because normally TV guys are just TV guys. Yeah. They're not owners. So
you got guys that, sometimes people complain because, people who used to, like, let's say Tony Romo doing it, he might give preferential coverage or treatment to, like, the Cowboys to their former teams. But owning the team is a whole nother. You have a vested interest in, that team doing well. So, yeah, we'll see how they go with it.
We'll see.
But while we're at it, welcome Brian Bland and Jess Winchester to the show. You got a question. Who you got? You keep trying to keep Kupp or Diggs for the rest of the season? It was offered a trade. What do you think about that? Cooper Kupp, who might be in some sort of trade rumors, and Stephon Diggs.
That's a tough one. Yeah. But I would do Kupp. It depends on where he go, but if he stays with the Rams, he's gonna get his 10 to 12, because before he got hurt, he had a game where he got like 15 receptions or 15 targets or something like that. And I would say Kupp, because when Nico Collins come back, not saying Diggs is going to go back to his role as the number 2, but he going to go back to sharing a bigger load of the team as far as receivers. So I would say Kupp, and plus say he go to a really good team that really needs a receiver. Yeah. The thing is, you don't know where Kupp is going.
That's what makes this a hard one to predict.
Yeah, so I would say Kupp though, just because I think with the Rams he's going to get 10 targets a game, 15 targets a game, because that's what they do. Between him and Puka, they're going to get their touches, but you just got to kind of keep your eye open on where he goes. Yeah.
But the problem with, since it's a trade that was already offered, sometimes you didn't know what the timeline. It's like, hey, this deal is hot for the next 24 hours, and you got to make a call. If I got to pull a call on it now, I'm with you. I go Kupp, because if he's stays with the Rams with Stafford, he's going to get those targets, because that's just how they have that connection with each other. If you go somewhere else, you kind of have to hope it's the right place. We'll talk Chiefs and if you think about it, I know there was a story that the Chiefs were trying to get Kupp, but the Rams wanted too much. So but I think Kupp is going to be productive probably wherever he goes, and if he's getting traded, you're not going to trade for a guy if you don't think you have playoff chances. So it's probably going to be a good landing spot no matter where it is. Diggs, on the other hand, like you said, once Nico gets back, he's I don't think that, plus CJ Stroud hasn't really been playing like he did a year ago. Especially if you watch this week's game. I'm with you. I'm gonna go Kupp on this one, and cross my fingers that, like I say, I see just said maybe Tampa Bay. Yeah, that would be they are in
Tampa
need.
Bay would be perfect.
So
perfect,
especially if they want to keep that Baker Mayfield train going.
I mean, and the good thing about it is they're saying that the Rams would cover a huge portion of his salary. So wherever he goes, they're going to cover a portion of that salary anyway. So if he, which I didn't know that Chris Godwin was a free agent after this year. So even if he went to Tampa, and they still got a couple more years with Cooper Kupp, that'd be crazy with him and Mike Evans out there. Yeah. So that's a good call there.
Could work out nicely.
Yeah.
Welcome, Carla, to the show. Do we want to address this Brian Bland comment? I know it's Commanders guy. Was there something to talk about with the Jaden Daniels got hurt? We want to talk about that?
Oh, gosh. Excuse him, please. Like, jeez. Lord have mercy. Speaking of that, I was going to bring up the Cooper Kupp, but we just talked about that. They say he's on the trading block, but we don't know where he's going. They want a second-round pick for Cooper Kupp. But
you think that's asking too much for someone his age?
At 32, kind of. I think a third or fourth round would probably be more feasible. But I'm going to tell you like this. I like what they're doing, honestly. Yeah. And I say this in a way because they don't have to trade Cooper Kupp right now. They can keep him, and when he come back, he can play. But I like the fact that they're kind of moving on, which they're good for. They're good for moving on. They do the whole New England thing when Bill Belichick was there. They move
Right.
you a year early before you get too old.
Right.
So I like that part of it, and they just probably gonna try to groom the rest of those receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
maximize your trade value.
Yeah,
right?
It makes sense. So I'm not. For me, I think that's a great way of doing business. I think you don't hold on to a player too long.
Yeah.
And when Puka get back, Puka is the guy. So whoever's on the other side, they just gonna be, the number 2 receiver, but they won't get as much coverage when Puka come back. So Puka gonna get his. So yeah. But speaking of trading receivers, DeAndre Hopkins just went to the Chiefs.
Yeah. Filling another need with a bunch of injuries.
Filling definitely a need, and I think they're getting. I would compare this to, I guess, the Jets making the trade like they did last week. How he didn't want to be. I'm sorry, he didn't want to be in Vegas, but he's happier in the Jets. He's probably going to play better with the Jets, and I think that's the same thing that's going to happen with Hopkins. Hopkins can come out the gate and play better just because he's with a better quarterback. So I think it's a good trade for him. They get a guy that's seasoned. He's a veteran, and they could hold on to him next year because he's still got a couple years left on that contract, I think. And him and Rasheed Rice with Worthy, I think that's not a bad combination when you come to receivers.
And they technically still will have Hollywood Brown available to them. So they could go from basically no wide receivers this year to having an arsenal of guys in the next year. So, it's a good move. It's a good move. I know there were not maybe a whole lot of leagues where you could have picked up DeAndre Hopkins, but I know he was available in some. Do you think you roll? Where do you see him being on the wide receiver scale for the rest of the season?
I think you wait a week, see what you get with him. I mean, because I feel like if you wait a week and he go off, you just got to take that L. But you got to see how he mixes with Mahomes right out the gate, and then you can kind of roll kind of forward with it, and then go from there. But I'll wait a week, to be honest with you. If it was me, give it a week, and then if you go off, what type of connection they have built within a couple of days, and then they can count it. Then you can go. You can play him as much as you want following that, because that's what I did with Kareem Hunt. I gave him a week. And then I was like, oh, he went off last week. Then I put him back in there.
Put him in the lineup.
Yeah, so then Kareem, now he's going to get the carries that he needs, really.
Dig it.
So,
dig it.
Yeah. We got 2 more pieces of news. One, but 2. Kamari signs a 2-year deal, $24.5 million to stay in New Orleans.
Yeah. Didn't see that coming. Honestly.
Didn't see that coming. It came out of the blue, but I like it, though. I do. And we will talk more about him later because when we talk our awards.
We're talking mid-season awards.
But I think that's a good signing. And then again, the Bucks lose Evans for 3 games, and Chris Godwin is out for the season. So that's a tough loss for Tampa. They were going to be good this year. But my thing is, I want to see how Baker looks now with those 2 guys gone.
We saw that one game, and it was not pretty. I jinxed them, said I've been waiting for the Baker Mayfield letdown game. It came in a big way after he lost his wide receivers. So we'll see. But if they can get that trade, maybe he bounced back. We'll see. Welcome, Jasper Lewis Senior. I was talking about you earlier in the show. You're banned from here for contributing to me being 0-7. Let me see if I can find the ban button. But welcome to the show, Russell Wilson. I was a doubter, and he looked week 1. He looked really good. We'll see. Good. Maybe he keeps it up, but I think it. One of the things I was talking to another Steelers fan is they weren't really allowing Justin Fields to go downfield as much, not really trusting him to go vertical. With Russell Wilson, you don't have that fear, and so that kind of can open up things for the ring game and make the offense overall look better. So if Russell Wilson continues to cook,
they played the Jets. Come on.
Now, dude, let me ask you. Like Pickens had a good game.
He did
with Russ. Does that continue?
I mean, much do you want me to put money in it? I'm
No, I'm just
already,
saying.
I'm already as the doubter as I've been called out. So I'm gonna say Russell Wilson is still Russell Wilson. He was not bad last year. I think he was like the number 9 quarterback before he got pulled. So it's not like he was doing a bad job. I have more issues with Russell Wilson, the NFL quarterback, than with Russell Wilson, the fantasy football quarterback. So I think that Pickens thing can stay. I think Pickens has a better shot with Russell Wilson than he does with Justin Fields. I say that for certain.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So I think you could probably expect there's going to be some up and down. I think just because that's who Russell Wilson is, despite his great first week. But overall, yeah, I think that continues. I think I did not play George Pickens last week.
I did.
Because I wanted to see how this thing worked out. But I do have him slated to go in my lineup this week. So
okay, all right.
So I'm a believer.
Good.
Brian Bland wants to. Is this a personal attack? Well, I guess is it both of us? Better team, the 49ers or the Raiders? I'm going to say the 49ers because there's not too many teams worse than the Raiders in the league. I don't think we're the worst overall, but we're pretty close.
He's doing that.
Is it just supposed to say the Commanders are better than both of them?
He's trolling. He's trolling so bad. He's trolling hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's trolling. That's all I got for news, unless you got something else.
I got a couple of other things I want to mention. We mentioned injuries affecting Tampa Bay and some other teams, but in Believe Land, also known as Cleveland, Deshaun Watson went out. He's done for the year. What's crazy was to hit Jameis Winston as the emergency third quarterback of that game. He only got in because Dorian Thompson got hurt. But Jameis is going to be the starter the rest of the season. How are you handling that fantasy football-wise?
I ain't handling it because I ain't playing. I didn't get Jameis.
Yeah.
A lot of people snapped.
I mean, not you personally, but you as the fantasy football analyst. How are you telling the audience to handle Jameis the rest of the season?
We know Jameis as a quarterback who will throw the ball down the field. We've seen him go for 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions, but we haven't seen that Jameis because he hasn't had the opportunity. But maybe he can go back to that Jameis. I mean, the one guy I think that benefits from that is Jerry Jeudy, because of the fact that they're going to be throwing the ball a lot, and I think with Nick Chubb back every week, getting healthier and healthier, trying to get back into routine, their defense is good. Their defense is not bad. The offense is the one that kept them from winning games and kept them from behind. If Jameis just come in and do a little bit of what he did in that year where he did 5,000, I think they'll be all right.
Yeah, I don't predict him doing quite that. I don't think he has the wide because he had Mike Evans and Chris Godwin.
Yeah.
He got Jerry Jeudy now because Amari Cooper's gone. But I think he can be productive. Hey, and I've said it before, every backup who's been there since Deshaun Watson came to Cleveland has done better than Deshaun Watson has. And I think that story will continue. Yeah. Number one, he's available. You know what I'm saying? Deshaun Watson hasn't been. But I think Jameis has some good years left in him, given the chance. I don't know how downfield they'll go because, again, like I said, that's not really the good wide receiver options. But Njoku, and if Jerry Jeudy ever looks like a first rounder, he can do some damage with that. So,
but Njoku had his best playing year after Winston got hurt last year.
Yeah.
Not Winston, but Watson got hurt last year. So he played better once Watson got hurt. So that tells you something. So
that tells you something. And my father's coming in about the Jets defense. I guess that's in defense of how good Russell Wilson was. But the Jets defense the last couple of weeks has looked very suspect. Ever since they made the defensive coordinator the interim coach, that defense has looked very suspect. But no, I don't want to degrade anything. Russell Wilson had a great game. And it started a little bit shaky, but once he got warmed up, he was looking good. A shout out to Miss Kansas City, our producer. I'm sure she appreciates that one. And the other story.
I was like, what? Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up?
So the other thing I comment on is the fact that where are my notes? Jerry Jones is in the news this week. Despite the Cowboys being on a bye week, he took a huge L for the team. And I'm producing those row goal with this one, so she's dying laughing. This fool had the audacity to say that he doesn't think Derrick Henry will be having a career year in their system in Dallas. I was like, well, why this self-inflicted loss on that jugger? Come on, man. Derrick Henry is Derrick Henry. He just looks terrible.
He needs to not talk.
Yeah,
he
right.
He just need to. I don't know what it is. He need to hire somebody to be the GM. He need to hire somebody to be the assistant. Somebody. He don't need to talk. He just do way too much talking.
Yeah.
And just be quiet, because every time you say something, it looks stupid. And
older and like the game has passed him by.
Yep.
Everything has passed him by. That's why he don't know how to shut up.
Be quiet. And the thing is, the Cowboys are not going to be any good until he leaves.
Hey.
And it's sad to say, but that is the truth. You can't be everything. He's the GM, the coach, the owner. He wants to run everything, but that's the problem.
Like I said many years ago, he's the Al Davis wannabe, and it worked when Al Davis was in his prime. But towards the end, it was like, dude, you gotta give up some of this power and let somebody else do the job for you. Jerry Jones is at that stage where he needs to let somebody else do this job for him.
He been doing that since Jimmy Johnson, though, man.
Yeah.
When Jimmy Johnson was there, he didn't let Jimmy Johnson pick his players. Then you know what time it was then. That's why he bringing these coaches that is
man.
Yeah, thank you.
McCarthy should have been gone 2 years ago.
But McCarthy don't say nothing, so that's why he still got a job. So it's just stupid, man. Like, be quiet. Just like you say, you building a team for a down team when you ain't bringing not one player in the off season. Just be quiet. Don't say nothing.
You thought Rico Dowdle and Ezekiel Elliott were gonna do better for you than Derrick Henry. So there you go. You disqualified automatically from making any further decisions.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah. That's all the news I got. So before we hit, if you're just joining us, we're hitting our mid-season awards. So we're gonna go through some categories, and of course, if you have awards you want to give out to players, make sure you put them in the chat. Let us know what you are thinking. Hey, Nita, I see you joining the show. Hola, good to see you. But before we do that, I want to talk about the week that was. Who the hot and not players are from just last week.
So we got quarterbacks, and in a losing effort, even though he lost his two receivers, Baker did. He was 31 of 45 for 370 and 3 touchdowns. He had 2 interceptions. I want to shout out Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert finally had a game where he actually was allowed to throw the football. Allowed, yes, because they like to run the ball too much. He was 27 of 39 for 349. He didn't throw any touchdowns, though. Josh Allen had 323. He was 21 of 33 for 2 touchdowns. And I want to shout out Lamar Jackson. Talk about Lamar Jackson later.
I know it's coming.
It's coming.
Well, hold on. We got the Supreme Uncle Jordan there from big Baltimore fan. So if you didn't mention Lamar Jackson, you're going to hear from him.
Look, I'm going to show Lamar some love today. Don't you worry about it. Lamar is 17 of 22 for 281 and 5 touchdowns. But I want to give a special shout out to Russ. Russ he came in cold, I guess if you want to say cold, but 16 for 29 is 264, 2 touchdowns. And that's what I got for quarterbacks. Who you like on this list, and how you feel about that?
Lamar Jackson, of course, is the greatest on that list. And again, I give Russell Wilson some props. But I'm going to give some props to someone you didn't mention coming in reserve. And Brian Bland might like this one. Marcus Mariota, who came in with 2 touchdowns, 200 plus yards. Hopefully Jaden Daniels doesn't miss any time. or not much if he does. But it's good to know that people can come in and do some work. So Mariota did some work. Who's not on my hot list, and I'm going to use this one to just get some of my own gripes out. Aaron Rodgers, because he got Devontae Adams joining the team. And
sorry, I'm thinking about the faces he was making on the sideline. My bad.
The funniest thing about it is I saw the post someone said Devontae Adams left a 2-5 team, got beat by the Steelers, got traded, and then in the very next week lost again, just like the Raiders. And who did he lose to? The Steelers. So he got to lose to the Steelers 2 weeks in a row. And Aaron Rodgers look horrible once again, because maybe he's just not good anymore.
He's old.
He's old and immobile, coming off that Achilles injury that magically got healed through the power of mushrooms and whatever else.
And darkness. Don't forget, he was in his dark room.
That room. He didn't get the revelations that he needed to cover that.
All right, there.
So that's all I got. Okay. Who you got for your running backs?
We got Saquon, homecoming, a little bit of a homecoming in New York. 17 carries, 176 and a touchdown.
Right.
You got King Henry,
the best.
15 carries, 169.
Keep this Ravens thing going, yeah.
Take Bigsby,
my man.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was
118, 2 touchdowns.
I've been talking Take Bigsby for years, and he's in our dynasty team.
Yes, you have.
For those that don't know dynasty, you can have what's called a taxi squad, where you consider player without having to put him in the bench. I had to activate Tank from the taxi squad. I was like, he's playing too well, but of course Travis Etienne is supposed to be coming back, so the ride might be over, but he showed what he can do.
Yes, he did.
And I think he's going to stay involved. So,
Jamar Gibbs, 15 carries, 116. Gibbs is the dude. 2 touchdowns, but he also had 100 yards receiving, I think, which is crazy. And that was all in the first half. Mm-hmm. So, he had crazy numbers. Joe Mixon had 25 carries, 115 and 2 touchdowns. Bijan has been playing well lately. 21 carries, 103 and a touch. And shout out to Najee, I guess.
My other man.
I'm about to say, here comes the bromance.
Shout out to Najee.
I told you, I got a love affair with Najee.
The bromance commenced. When Najee had a good game, I just looked over. Remember, I looked at you and you just started shaking
100-yard games in a row.
Yeah, Najee had 21 carries and he had 102 yards in the touchdown.
What's our third man? Because the third man always wants to joke on me for Najee. I need him to chime in to witness some of this greatness.
Najee definitely came through, and I want to say he's playing better with the touches he's getting. He's getting more touches now.
You have to. I mean, no offense. I love he's okay speed-wise, but he's not the fastest of guys. He's just a huge battering ram. If you don't give him enough touches, it's just not. You're not going to ever see the benefit of what Najee Harris gives you. Now, with Jaylen Warren finally coming back and being healthier than he's been all season, we'll see whether that changes any. I don't think so. I think they ride the hot hand with Najee, but we'll see what the Steelers decide to do.
I got you.
Yeah.
And receivers, we got Keon Coleman. I'm sorry, brother.
Usually give me an opportunity to talk about it while we're at it. So let me just throw some love. I'm happy. I talked bad about the Jets in the last segment, but I'll talk about Breece Hall because Breece Hall.
You're stealing my thunder.
My bad.
Stealing my thunder. Stop it. Stop doing that, man.
Breece Hall was hurting me at the beginning of the season, but the last few weeks he's heating up, and so
that's called they changed offense coordinator.
Yeah,
that's why.
Exactly. And so hopefully
it's a difference.
Hopefully this continues because this is the Breece Hall I drafted and the Breece Hall that I thought was going to be the number one running back in fantasy football. And I'm going to give a little bit of love to a guy. I've been a big Bucky Irvin guy, and we talked Sean Tucker 2 weeks ago. Rashad White came back, and he didn't do a lot rushing, but rushing and receiving, he got over 100 yards. So, he did his thing, and so
they're gonna need him going.
They're gonna need him to do that because he got, like I said, he got the century mark, and then he got the 2 touchdowns, I think, if I remember correctly from that game.
Yep.
So Rachaad White, welcome back, but don't take Bucky Irvin out entirely for me because I still need him.
I'm just
please.
Saying, okay.
By the way, you're the hater.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, just want to make sure you saw that comment.
I saw the comment. It's cool.
Okay.
Yes, that's cool.
Now you can go to wide receiver. Also say that that I missed that comment earlier about Joe Flacco being the best quarterback. I'm surprised that Cleveland let him go because they could use what Joe Flacco gave them last year. And
you're right about that.
We'll see what happens the next time Anthony Richardson gets hurt because you know how you do. It's only a matter of time.
Okay.
All right, who you got for your wide receivers?
Keon Coleman, 4 receptions, 125. The best game he's had since. He's a rookie, but the best game he had this
season. Yeah.
Yeah. Rashad Bateman, another Baltimore guy, 4 receptions, 121 and a touchdown.
And staying healthy, which is the biggest Rashad Bateman problem. Yeah.
That is huge for him. Amon St. Brown, 8 receptions, 112 and a touchdown. George Pickens, he had a good game, 5 for 111 in the touch. And Breece Hall, 6 receptions.
I see what you're doing.
Thank you. You're still in the thunder.
I got you. My bad.
Breece Hall, 6 receptions, 103 yards. He didn't have a touchdown, but Breece Hall was crazy in the receiving game, and he was crazy in the rushing. So he did his thing. And I want to shout out Scary Terry, losing his quarterback. He still had 6 receptions, 90 yards, and big win for them. Definitely. So, and I want to shout out tight ends. One tight end, Brock Bowers, 10 receptions, 93 yards, no touches. But if you got Brock Bowers like I do, you better keep him in the lineup because he's gonna do that every week.
Yeah. The only thing I add to it is the one we talked about earlier, Njoku, who had a stellar game, 76 yards and a touchdown. So with Amari Cooper going to Buffalo, he's probably somebody you want to keep in your tight end lineups because he's the best receiving threat they have, right?
Yeah, the only receiving threat. Everybody else. One of the guys don't want to stay healthy, and then the other one, Tucker, is a rookie. So he's the only receiving threat. So yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So we've reached the point. Hopefully you all have some suggestions you want to throw in. But our subject for this week is mid-season awards. So we're at week 7. So typically your fantasy football season runs 14 weeks before the playoffs. So we are at the halfway point. So we're going to give out a few awards and seeing who's been the people that's been leading to your fantasy football success or demise even this fantasy football season. Do you want to start us off with? Do we just go straight to MVP, or where do you want to start?
Straight MVP. Let's go.
Okay. Who's your MVP for this season?
So I have 2. I'm gonna say Lamar / Derrick Henry are my MVPs this year.
Yeah.
That tandem is crazy.
Yeah.
Because that's how I'm winning in my dynasty league.
Yeah, because she mentioned dynasty. Our producer has both of those guys on her dynasty team.
Yeah,
and she's been in first place pretty much the whole season.
Because combined they give me like over 100 points pretty much every week.
Man, when I tell you these 2 guys, and it's like a puzzle. They fit so perfect together.
Yeah.
It's like it's like you gotta pick your poison. Yeah. Which one? And I said this before the year started. When you got both of them back there, and both of them can run, either which one you got to pick? Because if you run a bootleg or something and do a fake, which one you gonna pick? You got to pick one of them. So if Derrick Henry is running up the middle of the whole game, you got to be cautious of Lamar running on the outside. So it's like, man, like what do you do with these 2 guys? And it's crazy as the game go on. Derrick Henry just gets better.
He was mad at himself. He said he was slow because he got caught,
bro,
on that 81-yard run.
Oh yeah,
yeah. But the only regret I have for this season, I have many actually, but the one I'm gonna talk about right now is I did not get Derrick Henry in a single league. It was all the ones I had was I was either too early when I went with a guy like Brees Hall, or I was just too late to pick up Derrick Henry. But in some of my too early ones, I probably should have just gone Derrick Henry because we both thought he would be great in that system. Not great in the Cowboy system apparently, but with the Ravens, the way they love to run the ball, you had to know Derrick Henry was going to put up some numbers this year. I'm still surprised with the numbers. I thought it was going to be big, but
he's on pace.
He's almost at 900 yards now.
I know.
It's crazy,
man. But I called it though. I called 1,500 yards.
Yeah.
So okay.
I actually had the same two MVPs on my list.
All right, so I want to say this, y'all.
And I went Derrick Henry fully on mine just because it was a toss between Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, and since quarterbacks win everything all the time, I was going to just give it to Derrick Henry straight up because I think Derrick Henry is responsible for some of the great Lamar Jackson you're seeing because if the run game sets up the pass, it's the oldest thing in football, and so Lamar Jackson has been great and himself is having a kind of record year despite being a two-time MVP. He's having a better year this year than he has those years at this point of the season. But I think Derrick Henry has a lot to do with that. So my MVP, Derrick Henry.
Well, I want to tell y'all this. We don't know what's on our list, by the way.
We have not had time to discuss this, so we're hearing all of these for the first time.
I keep telling y'all just need to flip up cards to see if I match. I keep telling you to do it.
We actually should put that in as a segment. Gonna have the match game, R&J style. We're just
because it's crazy because we never actually talk like when we do segments like this. We never talk about who we picked. We just try to figure. We just do it, and most of the time we're always it's normally the same.
All right, so stay tuned. We actually are gonna do that. I don't know about maybe next week or a week. So we got to do this. We got to see how it works. All right. Next category. Who you got?
Let's do defensive player of the year.
Okay.
I got Dexter Lawrence from the Giants. 24 tackles, 9 sacks. Mm-hmm. So 17 solo, 7 assisted on a losing team, but if you go a halfway point, he's leading the league in sacks for a defensive lineman, and he has 24 tackles. So I'm gonna say Dexter Lawrence
from the Giants. That defense is actually, despite the fact their record's not great, and I didn't pick him, but I got some Giants love coming later in the show. But if we're gonna talk defensive MVP, if you remember from our bold prediction show, our third man asked us for defensive picks. I said T.J. Watt because T.J. Watt is T.J. Watt. He's been very disappointing this year, and I have him in a lot of my IDP leagues, and it's killing me. But a guy who I love, and I'd be a straight homer because it's true, Robert Spillane, linebacker for the Raiders, has 67 tackles at this point. A lot of the noise gets made about Max Crosby, and it should. He's one of the best edge rushers there is. He has a motor that keeps going. But you need someone to complement that, and Spillane has been that dude on the defensive end. I got him as my number one guy. I don't have Spillane. I thought that name was going to sneak under the radar because we have, again, this defensive league that we mention a lot. And I waited too long to pull the trigger on Spillane. I have him in a couple of defensive IDP leagues, but that one in particular, I wanted him, and I didn't get him because I waited too long. I was like, nobody's gonna think about Robert Spillane. He's easy money, and the money didn't pay off. Welcome. We talked about Shaq earlier. Our third man has joined us, and we talked about the reason you were so sad. Tampa Bay just saw all of their hopes and dreams just crash in one game. That was super sad.
Yeah, so that was tough to watch.
Yeah, that was a tough one to watch. So our heart goes out to you. Have some fun at homecoming on us, and maybe that can help you get past this grieving period. So homecoming weekend coming up. Norfolk State represent.
Oh yeah.
All right. What you got next?
So we got Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Okay. You told me I was going to be a homer on this one.
I think you
So
are.
I'm going to go ahead and say my guy, Jaden Daniels. I don't think it's a
Oh,
question.
okay. Well, hold up. I got Jaden Daniels too.
Yeah, I was like,
What are we talking about here?
Jaden Daniels actually had consideration for me for MVP, just for the fact of he's in some depending on your scoring, he's like the third ranked quarterback overall. Forget rookies.
Yes.
I mean, Jaden Daniels is put on the show. I'm guessing you thought I was gonna say Caleb Williams.
No. I thought you were going to say Brock Bowers.
Oh, you thought I was gonna say Brock? Oh, yeah, that would have been a homer pick. Yeah. Brock Bowers is on my list for as we discuss some of the specific positions, but I don't think you can go anywhere other. For me, you can't go anywhere other than Jaden.
To me, Jaden Daniels,
he's a game changer.
Yes, he's Rookie of the Year.
Yeah,
I mean, if he
Midseason Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, if he wasn't a rookie, I think they will put him in a conversation for MVP or at least Offensive Player of the Year. But for me, I think he just changes the game so much for the Commanders.
Yeah,
in a way. I mean, you would have never seen like my brother in there. He can vouch because he's a Commanders fan. So he can the way the stadium. He went to the game a couple weeks ago and he showed me the way the stadium was rocking. Right, it was crazy because normally when you go to that stadium it's normally 50-50 away team, home team, but it ain't like that no more because he brings that juice there.
He brought the excitement. Yeah,
and I'm sticking to my guns. They win in the division, so. I think nobody
the Eagles look like they want to come back to life, but for real, it's the Commanders' division to lose at this point.
Yeah, I'm sticking with my guy.
As long as Jaden Daniels isn't, seriously hurt, and he's
no, I don't think so. They said it's not serious.
Yeah,
they said maybe 1 to 2 weeks. He hasn't practiced this week. They may hold him out another week just for him to get healthy.
Yeah.
So, but he played another 10 plays. They said. After he got hurt. So I think he's all right. I just think they're taking precaution. But yeah, he's my Offensive Rookie of the Year.
So not a homer.
Whatever. I thought you was going there.
I got you.
Yeah, I got you.
I didn't give the MVP to a quarterback, so I had to come back to quarterback for the offensive rookie. So
true. I like that.
What you got?
Defensive Rookie of the Year. Who you got?
Said I was going to show some love to the Giants. Tyler Nubin, defensive back for the Giants, has been outstanding. It's one of those things. Dallas Turner, I think, was on a lot of people's radars to make a huge contribution as a rookie for the Vikings. We haven't really seen it yet. But if you look around what rookies have been doing on defense, it's been the defensive backs mainly.
Yeah.
Even not for the whole season, but if you just look at last week, Beanie Bishop put out those 2 interceptions in that Steelers game. So you can see quite a few of these rookies doing some major work over here for defensive. So I got Tyler Nubin as my defensive rookie.
I'm gonna go Jared Versa from the Rams.
Another good
He's a defensive tackle. He replaced Aaron Donald. He just won defensive rookie of the month last month. They say he would have more sacks. He has 22 tackles and 1 sack, but he would have more sacks if they could get more pressure. But he's really good. He's a really good defensive tackle. I think they found their replacement for Aaron Donald.
I think that's fair to say.
So I'm gonna say Jared Versa as your defensive rookie of the year so far.
Okay. And by the way, we're doing our midseason awards. Who's been winning this stuff for fantasy football purposes? Feel free to throw in your comments or your questions. We got one from Orlando Lewis. Fantasy Live is saying Alvin Kamara is a risky play this week. I say he's more than a risky play. He's not a play at all this week. He's not gonna be playing. Well, he's questionable.
And I don't know. I mean,
it's one of those things where I wait to see. But I don't have it on good authority because I don't know anybody. But he's been having he's been limited in practice this week. I wait to see whether he plays. But if he does play, I put him in. Like you said, you mentioned what he did last week. So
I play him.
Yeah.
I mean, even in a losing cause, he's still gonna get his numbers. So, and they saying Derek Carr may play this week actually. So
that would make me even more willing to play him. I guess the risk is not just his injury, but the Chargers' defense is pretty good. But teams got to stick with what's working, and
of course.
They already don't have Rashid Shaheed for the rest of the season. Olave is still questionable. What are they going to do but run the ball? You know what I'm saying? So,
and he's a dual threat, so you got to put him in the game.
He can be useful. Well, assuming his hand is all right, he still has the potential to be used, like you said, as a receiver, which they are in desperate need of for the Saints. So, I've got no problem playing him but definitely have your backup plan ready in case he doesn't play. Question from Jonathan Mateo. Thanks. Welcome to the show. Running back is Brees, Mason, Hunt, Montgomery, and wide receivers are Higgins, Amari Cooper, DeAndre Hopkins. We talked about earlier, just making that move over to Kansas City. Deontay Johnson. I'll wait for the Deontay Johnson trade to come up. We'll see whether that happens or not.
Yeah.
Romeo Dobbs, Cooper Kupp, who we also talked about earlier. Tight ends is Kelsey Ferguson. Cade Otten.
Sorry.
I almost slept up because if you watch the show, you know our producer has nicknames for like everybody. Sometimes the nicknames stick in my head, and so
that's why he's Cotton. Sorry.
Do you trade for Kelsey? Do you trade Kelsey, Deontay, and Mason for Smith and Jonathan Taylor?
What Smith?
Smith is that Devontae
Smith?
Because if it is, that's a definite no. What do you think?
He don't really need running backs though. He got Reese, he got Mason, Hunt, Montgomery. Running back is your strong suit.
Yeah, I mean Jonathan Taylor's been good. He's been one of the running backs that people drafted early. That's been mainly people, except for when he's hurt. You know, they had the Trey.
But
Trey Sermon weeks, but I think
I don't know. I wouldn't make the trade because between Brees, Hunt, and Montgomery, you got 3 good running backs right there.
Yeah.
So, and Hunt got a beautiful matchup this week against New England. I'm not trading. I'm not making that trade. I'm not making it just because of the fact of injuries that's happening through this season with other players.
I know that's right.
you want to stay pat as much as you can.
Yeah. I wonder.
Well, he's saying
what they don't say is. Oh, I'm sorry. What?
He said he want to get rid of him because CMC coming back. But honestly, if I'm you, I'm a 49ers fan. I'm holding on to Mason because CMC is coming back from tendonitis and stuff like that can flare up and pop at any time. So you might want to hold on to Mason. I will hold on to Mason, to be honest.
I would definitely hold on to him. What I don't see, and this maybe we were right with Devontae Smith because I guess it would have been a comment if we had that wrong. I was thinking maybe could it possibly making a quarterback trade for someone because I didn't see quarterbacks in this list of players, and so maybe it was a Geno Smith trying to get better at that position.
Yeah, he did.
And then maybe I give it a bit more consideration, but considering it's Kelsey and Deontay Johnson, I'm gonna go out on limb and say it was Devontae Smith. Which means I'm with you. I don't do this trade because
I don't do that.
Devontae Smith, you're still waiting for the turnaround because he hasn't really produced at the level we're used to seeing yet. And if you have hope that that's going to change in the second half of the season, maybe you think about it. But the biggest thing in that trade for me is Jonathan Taylor. And like you said, I don't think you really need.
You don't need him. Where you gonna play him?
Don't need him. Oh, and they have Josh Allen, which is pretty good. So, hey.
But where you gonna play him at? It's like even if you get Jonathan Taylor, right? You still got Brees Hall, you got Hunt, and you got Montgomery. Brees Hall ain't leaving the lineup.
Yeah.
Hunt is not leaving the lineup because he's getting 20, 25 carries a game.
Right.
And Montgomery is just Montgomery.
We had a scare with Monty this past week. I was holding my breath because he went out of the game, but he came back. So I was like, oh, Lord, don't do it to me.
Yeah. So, I mean, me personally, there's no way you can play unless you got some extra flex spots or whatever. But there's no way you're sitting Brees Hall and Hunt and Montgomery on the bench. So for me, it's kind of a waste of a trade because you have running backs
You're
already.
so deep at that position.
You're deep at
You
running
don't really
back.
have to do it. Yeah. All right, but thanks for the question. We appreciate it. Your boy wants to know about did we talk? You've been watching since the show started. You know we didn't talk Commanders on defense. But if you have something you want to say about the Commanders defense,
you let us know.
Let us know in the chat. We appreciate. Hey, it's a conversation, so let us know what we missed about the Washington Commanders defense. What wide receiver do you think? Going back to Jonathan's question, what do you think he can get for Travis Kelce?
Ooh, he got Higgins, Amari, Hopkins, Deontay, Dobbs, Cup. I mean, he probably would have to package Kelce in one of those receivers. I would do it like a 2 for 2
because Kelce hasn't quite been Kelce.
Yeah,
full.
Yeah. I would package Kelce and probably Deontay Johnson at the moment, and try to get a receiver back because you're gonna have to make up for Kelce not being Kelce right now.
Yeah. Do you think someone who maybe is struggling because Mike Evans is going to miss some time? Do you have faith in doing a trade, something like that, to see if you could get Mike Evans for a playoff push?
I mean, I would, because if his team is deep, in my opinion, his team is deep enough because he got Ferguson, who is good. So that could be his starting tight end. So he just pretty much put him in the lineup. But for me, because he has a deeper roster, I would say I would try to go after Mike Evans just to see what that person would say. But I would first I would throw a Kelce,
especially if you said you team it with another wide receiver.
You would have to just because Kelce hasn't played well. Not saying he won't play well, but he hasn't played well so far. Yeah. So you would have to team him up at least with. I would say Deontay Johnson first.
Yeah.
And then kind of if he comes back and wants something else, then y'all can kind of play it however y'all want to. But I would go for Mike Evans because he's only missing 3 games.
Yeah.
And just when he come back, you'll have Higgins, Amari, Hopkins, Cooper Kupp, and you had Dobbs. So you'll be good at the end of the day. I think that's what I would do. So.
Okay. And hold on to that Kelce thought because we're doing mid-season awards. Good things, but we're also going to talk about some players that maybe haven't lived up to the hype, and I want to get your opinion on some. And one of these things does involve Kelce and maybe some other underperforming players. But thanks again, Jonathan Mateo, for the question. We appreciate it. By the way, it's a good point in the show to tell everybody, if you haven't already, hit that hit subscribe button, and tell your friends to come join us in this conversation. We appreciate it. Brian Bland asked, do you start Brock Purdy this week? See, I was thinking Brock Bowers when I first saw it, but I'm assuming since it's going to you, I'm assuming it's a Brock Purdy question. By the way, if it was Brock Bowers, you start him every week, but I think that's obvious. But yeah, Purdy, what do you do with him this week? It was not a pretty game last week.
It depends on who you have. If you got somebody that's not worth starting as a backup for you, then you start Brock. But if you got another strong quarterback, I'm not starting Brock, and that's no hate towards him. That's more of he has 3 because Jennings could be out. Debo is out. Obviously, Ayuk is out. So he pretty much is going with 2 rookie receivers this week, and a second-year receiver. It could be trouble because we seen how those guys looked last week, and they didn't look great. They didn't get separation. And it looked like they was running the wrong routes for some reason.
Yeah.
But I would say no. If you got a stronger quarterback to play, I would say no. Brock will be on the bench for me this week.
He's not my first choice. Like I say, if you have somebody better, I definitely do it. But I'm not afraid to start Brock Purdy this week, only because the last time we saw the Cowboys on the field, they were losing 42-9, right? So it's not like that defense is good. So and that game has a potential to be one of those kind of shootout games. The only thing is Brock Purdy is missing a lot of his guns for this shootout.
You ain't lying.
So it's a little bit of fear with that factor. It's like, okay, I got George Kittle, Juwan Jennings, I guess.
I mean,
Rick
Jennings
Purcell came
play.
back last week. I mean,
Jennings got a hamstring.
Yeah.
He may not play, and
he
they
might
saying
not,
that
but you're right.
Kittles is on the injured list this week.
Kittles is always on the injured list.
Yeah. So he may be without
Yeah.
Jennings and Kittles, and you may be running with a bunch of new guys.
Yeah.
It don't bode well for
It don't
him.
bode well. So yeah.
So me, if I had another option,
Yeah.
I would definitely not play. I wouldn't start him, and that's just my theory.
I'm with you all the way. Question. I hate Q. My mom said I don't know what that means.
Questionable. She hates when players have questionable.
Oh, you are so good. That's why we keep the producer around. Jaden Reed, you suppose, is he gonna suit up? He had a very bad game this past week. That's the one thing, and we've said sometimes the Packers wide receiver can be unpredictable because they have so many options. I usually say Jaden Reed is the one you can always depend on, but last week proved that no, even he can be suspect to bad games. But I don't think that happens this week.
I think you play him.
If I think he's playing, and if he plays, you start him because Jaden Reed, I think is going to have a really big bounce back game. They're playing Jacksonville, and there's absolutely nothing about that Jacksonville defense that scares me. This, I think, is going to be a really big Jordan Love game, and so I'm all in. What do you reckon about C.J. Stroud? He can't be worse than last week.
He'll be fine.
He'll be back.
I think what the problem is, and nobody's really saying this, he's going to be fine, but I think he's really missing Nico Collins.
Yeah,
I think so. I mean, Diggs, because Tank Dell didn't do much last week.
Tank Dell, this is what's supposed to be his time to shine.
Yeah, Tank Dell didn't do much last week.
He has not been.
Well,
helpful.
That's just proving that, no disrespect to Tank Dell, that Tank Dell is not if you put him in the limelight or the spotlight where he's the number one or the number two receiver, it's showing that he can't produce.
You're saying that he's Juju Smith-Schuster.
Not saying that. I never said that now.
You didn't say it, but if you've been following the show enough, we know how you feel about Juju Smith-Schuster.
It never came out of my mouth.
He can't be the one or the two.
He's a three. I mean, like, a 3. Diggs, I don't know. I forgot what Diggs did last week, but he is definitely a 3. So I guess that's what it comes down to be honest with you. I think they're really missing Nico Collins, but when Nico come back, I think CJ is going to be fine regardless, to be honest. I think they just played a good Green Bay defense last week. And honestly,
that Green Bay defense is underrated.
They're good.
They're really good.
So both of them really struggled early last week. Him and Jordan Love struggled early last week. Jordan Love just got hot a little bit later. But I think CJ would be fine, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be worried about it too much.
Yeah. I'm with you. I agree totally.
Yeah. So we got comeback player of the year, or are we doing comeback player of the year?
We got to do the comeback player of the year. I've been saving a guy just for this category.
I'm gonna say Alvin Kamara, comeback player of the year.
Not mad at that.
443 yards. He got 6 rushing touchdowns, 34 receptions, 252, and a touchdown on 43 targets. So he deserves the contract he just got, obviously.
Yeah.
But
I'm surprised that he got that contract just because it's becoming tradition that you don't give running backs big contracts anymore.
He got it.
He got it.
I mean, but honestly, think about it. He's been playing well.
What he brings to the team is.
And it's funny because a week before that, they asked him about some trade rumors.
Yeah.
And he came out and was like, well, I'm happy in New Orleans. I want to be in New Orleans. I love being in New Orleans. And then this week he gets the contract. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but I mean, we can assume that they was like, oh, that's how you really feel? Okay, we can give you a new deal. So, hey, I'm with it. He's producing. And it's not like he's a bruiser. He doesn't run between the tackles like that. So he's going to give you that dual threat, which he's on pace for, another good year. So I take it, Congrats on the contract. And that's my comeback player of the year.
Yeah, I mentioned a regret earlier, not getting Derrick Henry on enough teams.
Mm-hmm.
Alvin Kamara is another guy that you could have gotten a little bit late this year, later than normal, and I couldn't pull the trigger except for on my best ball team. It's the only team I actually have Alvin Kamara on for that very reason. I was like, man, I let him slip through my fingers because it was one of those sort of like that a company you got Saquon Barkley at a discount, and boom, blew up. I don't know. I would say you got Derrick Henry at a discount this year. He was still a pretty high running back, but not where he deserved to be. So it's one of those. Sometimes you get these discounts, and those, if you take advantage of them, they can make your fantasy football team into a championship team just because you got guys on the low.
True.
And my comeback player is a guy you certainly got on the low, and I have in like 4 different teams Sam Darnold come into play.
Wow. Didn't see that coming.
You didn't. You didn't see a lot of people big on Sam Darnold because he's been literally terrible, literally everywhere he's played. The Jets, Carolina, San Francisco couldn't even get into games for the most part. When JJ McCarthy went down and Sam Darnold was the starter, a lot of people were like, oh, that's it for Justin Jefferson. It was probably a lot of people saying it was over him anyway, even with JJ McCarthy. But Sam Darnold is coming in and having an incredible season. And, hey, he's my starter in a couple of leagues because he's been producing. He and Justin Jefferson getting the job done. So, Sam Darnold, thank you. And I'm glad I have you on the teams that have you because you're replacing some very underperforming quarterbacks that I picked ahead of you.
I didn't see that
I think
coming.
I got Sam Darnold in like my fourth quarterback. And definitely the gridiron in the barbershop. And in another league, I picked him up. And hey, it's paying off. So
I didn't see that coming. I didn't. But
hey,
I can respect.
We're not gonna get all of ours to match. So and you gotta have an occasional time where we're like, I didn't think of that one. So
I can respect that. I didn't see that coming. So yeah, I definitely can respect that. That's what's up. So we got the last one. We got Offensive Player of the Year.
Why does it have to be the last one?
Oh, we can keep going. I'm good with that. But we got Offensive Player of the Year.
Okay.
I got Derrick Henry. I know I had him as MVP, but I doubt they give it to him if Lamar is still playing this well. So, but I just put them up there because they go hand in hand with each other. But if you're talking Offensive Player of the Year, you have to give it to Derrick Henry. You have to because he's on pace for 1,600 yards, and he has 8 touchdowns. You know what's crazy?
He has 8 rushing touchdowns. He also has 2 receiving touchdowns, and caught a receiving touchdown in that game just this past week, which people usually don't add to part of his game. But
you know what's crazy though? They put out a stat the other day, right? And they said that Derrick Henry is first in yards, first in touchdowns, first in the average, first in like 7 different categories. And if he's not MVP, he's definitely gonna be the Offensive Player of the Year, and for me, so I think it's definitely, if it ain't him, who is it?
Is he gonna burst past that 2,000?
I'm gonna have to say yes, because you know why? That 17th game, or 18th game. So yeah, I'm have Tim to say he gets that $2,000, man, because he's on pace for 1,800 or 1,600. Really, all he needs is a good game of 250, which is possible. But I know, I mean, he gonna do work.
I'm gonna say he gets it, and if he does get it, then for me, he's definitely the MVP of the season.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Jamal, welcome to the show.
What's up, Jamal?
He's getting crushed this season. I know.
Yes, he is.
I don't know if you caught the beginning of the show, but your boy is having a tough time over.
He ain't doing as bad as you, but he doing bad.
Thank you.
Wow, that was kind of a dig.
I didn't think that was called for.
I didn't mean it that way. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it that way.
You said exactly how you meant it, and our producer called you out.
Dang. Your man
down,
and then you was like, it ain't as
bad
as you.
I didn't mean it that way. That just came off so rude. My bad.
Yeah, I don't even think it was necessary.
It wasn't.
But anyway,
Jamal.
Jamal.
You know what? Jamal is doing worse than you. Don't even worry about it.
Jamal, I feel your pain.
It's doing worse than you.
Apparently, he says we're not going to talk about Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors deserves some conversation. Hey, that's why we leave it open for it's a conversation. So you throw in your love for Malik Neighbors. He has been quite a. Hey, you know who hasn't been impressive as a wide receiver as a rookie? That a lot of people had in their top 10.
Jr.
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yep.
Yeah. I guess the bad sign was when his quarterback said it's not his job to get the ball to him.
That part there, huh? Yeah. It ain't my job to get it to you.
That is literally your job.
That's your job to get it to him.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, like that's your job. Like,
playing too much Call of Duty to remember their play. No, the playbook is get the ball to Marvin Harrison Jr., but whatever. Also, wanting to get some love to Brian Thomas Jr. Yeah.
Yes.
Also, and Brian Thomas Jr. had a really good week last week, in addition to having a good season, because he's the best wide receiver they have.
But he's really been
him and Christian
he's
Kirk,
not been consistent. That's the problem with Brian Thomas Jr. And that's partly on Trevor Lawrence too, but he hasn't been consistent like that too. Malik Neighbors now, before he got hurt, Malik Neighbors give you 10 targets a game, 10 receptions a game. Easy, an easy 10 target. Yeah. So, yeah.
We have agreement in the chat that Marvin Harrison has been mediocre and been benched in one of these teams.
That's smart.
I skipped. I'm told I skipped a comment earlier from Jamal about Patrick Mahomes needing weapons. I think he just got one.
Got one.
DeAndre Hopkins. So we'll see how he can continue with that, but. Hopefully, also, we had a mention of Travis Kelce earlier. Hopefully, that thing gets better because I'm deeply surprised. We talked all good stuff. I do have one category I want to throw in, but I want to save that at the end because I'm going to talk about some bad stuff for a while. So I want to end on a high note. So I save that category. I'll give you some time to think about it. I want to get who's your surprise player for this fantasy football season. But before we do that one, let's talk about some disappointing fantasy football players. We just mentioned Marvin Harrison, so that one counts. But who's your most disappointing player at this midpoint of the season?
Most disappointing? See, you got me on that one. I ain't think about that one now.
I got one.
While you're thinking, our producer has one. What do you got?
The defense person, Josh Allen.
Oh,
yo.
You know what happened with Josh Allen? He changed his name.
He did. He became Josh Hines Allen,
he has a hyphen in his name now. It's like, wait, you haven't had a hyphen in your name the whole time you've been playing.
That's the wrong Josh Allen. It's two Josh Allens.
Just two defensive Josh Allens?
Oh, you said defensive. Oh,
I said defensive Josh Allen has been disappointed. I ain't talking about the quarterback.
Getting confused with but look, he needed that confusion because the ones he added that hyphen and told us what his full name is, he ain't been the same.
He has not played the same since because I was like, yes, I'm about to get the defensive Josh Allen. I'm going to tear it up this year. No.
Yeah, I think the extra letters are weighing down his jersey. And so he hasn't been able to get the tackles and such as he used to get. So that's one.
That's my disappointment.
I'm gonna say Anthony Richardson.
But that's your fault.
It's not my fault.
It's literally your fault.
It really isn't my fault.
But I'll let you try to defend yourself first.
I mean, I thought Anthony Richardson was gonna come in and do work. I thought he was gonna come in and be good this year, but Anthony Richardson hasn't looked good at all this year.
No. His backup has been better. Someone mentioned earlier about Joe Flacco being the best backup in the NFL. Yeah.
I'm half tempted to say that he don't get benched this year, but in another year or two, he may get the Justin Fields treatment. But we got Jamal saying that
Hopkins is washed. I don't know if that's true.
Oh no, that's true. Okay.
He was just recently a 1,000-yard receiver, and he has Will Levis and Mason Rudolph as his quarterbacks right there. So
yeah,
I would say I think with the Chiefs, as long as he can stay healthy, we might see some improvement from DeAndre Hopkins. I don't know how good he'll be, but I suspect we'll see his fantasy numbers increase tremendously. Jamal already throwing in his surprise player, and Kareem Hunt is that dude because he didn't even have a job, right?
Off the couch.
So he came off the couch and said, I'm about to be one of the best running backs, so I'm not mad at that at all. And my mom says CJ Stroud had surprised her with not meeting expectations. Given the seats he had last year, and this is one our producer says all the time, is they get film. You can surprise people as a rookie, but then when they get the film on you, it gets a bit tougher for you.
You gotta learn how to pivot. Sorry. You gotta learn how to pivot a little bit. I say this all the time because think about, this is a Homer person I'm gonna say, but it's the first person that pops in my mind. When Mahomes first started, he could do crap because no one had seen all his little trickery when he first was quarterback. So nobody knew because, they had previous weeks, but every week he could switch it up and do whatever because there wasn't consistent looks or film on him.
Right.
Once you get that film, teams can go and say, okay, he does this, and this, and you can study it. So when you come in that sophomoric year, and you're still lingering on the past, you can't do all that stuff. You gotta, and this is the growing pains that you gotta come with, because Mahomes has changed this game a great deal since the beginning. Yeah. You gotta, this is something he has to learn. So I wouldn't say be surprised. It's just he has to learn how to adjust his game from what he did before. And once he figures it out, he'll get better. So I wouldn't say don't give up on CJ. It's just fantasy, and it's his points. But as a player, this is just his maturity thing that he has to go through to get better. So, is it his best year? No, but it's just year 2. Come on, people. Give him time.
Give him some time. I think he's gonna figure it out.
Because you can tell. It's not like he's been
consistently bad this whole year. He's just had quite a few bad weeks. Which he didn't have a year ago. So we'll see.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
I think he'll be fine.
He just give him time. Folks just done figured out the little trickery, so you can't be as trickery as you used to be.
But if you picked him high based off last year, you probably are a bit disappointed. So I feel you.
Honestly, I'm not. Because I feel like he had. To me, I think he only had about 2 bad games.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think he's been fine. And you can say the same thing about Jordan Love. Jordan Love
has been on fire. There would be no Jordan Love slander.
No.
Other than being hurt, Jordan Love has been awesome.
What I'm saying is Jordan Love has thrown more interceptions this year than he normally would. But a lot of people are not saying.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Wait,
you need to learn to turn my mic off.
No, I just saw this comment.
You need to learn to turn my mic off.
Is that an attack at me? I don't.
You really should.
Lord wow.
Then I can laugh out loud.
Wow. You know what? I feel great that my wife is doing better than me in fantasy football because she watches RJ Fantasy Football Talk live Wednesday nights at 9 p.m.
Y'all for real right now? Oh my goodness! What?
Oh, the personal attacks.
He is really taking shots tonight, ain't he? Lord. Wow. That is a low blow. That's kind of a low blow there.
All right. I'm gonna pick up my face, and I'm gonna tell you my disappointing players.
Yeah, you gonna have to. You want me because it kind of some of it fell over here. You want me to throw it back to you?
No, throw it over the curtain.
There you go. I'm gonna throw it back to you because
that is crazy.
Oh my god!
Disappointing players. I'm gonna stick with quarterbacks in this one. There's a lot of players that I think there's disappointing. We could talk about these wide receivers and et cetera, et cetera. But I got 2 guys I want to talk about: Dak Prescott and Patrick Mahomes, because these are traditionally 2 of the best quarterbacks in fantasy football, and they're both ranked in like the 20s. as far as quarterback rankings are concerned. I even saw some crazy stuff happening this week with Patrick Mahomes. So people saying Patrick Mahomes is now droppable in fantasy football. What are
In
your
what
thoughts?
world?
What that's what I'm with you. But you know, a lot of people to get paid to do fantasy football analysis on major networks. I said it is now okay to drop Patrick Mahomes. I'm like, you drop Patrick Mahomes if you want to. I guarantee you, before waivers clear, you know what I'm saying, he will be claimed by any and everyone. That's the dumbest
You
thing.
know what I
Now,
think is crazy about
yeah,
that? Those guys that be, you know how people say no disrespect, but like they disrespect somebody right after. I'm gonna do
yeah,
that. I'm gonna say, but no disrespect. But I don't. I get they get paid, but
yeah,
some of the comments they make are really stupid.
yeah,
Um, because if you go on national TV and you don't know the landscape of somebody's league,
yeah,
the first, like you don't know no rules, no points, no nothing,
right,
and you tell them to go up there and drop a player like Patrick Mahomes, and if you're crazy enough to listen to that person and say, well, I'm in the league with two quarterbacks and the quarterbacks get this amount of points, they get the most points in the league. You know what? You're right. I'm going to drop Patrick Mahomes today. You're
mm-hmm.
crazy enough to listen to him because you're not, thing is, you're not catering to all leagues. You're catering to certain leagues when you talk on national TV like that.
Right,
So when you say stuff like that, you got to say, well, if your league has these rules, you shouldn't do it because
mm-hmm.
you need it. You need this person. You need to have them, even if you sit them on a bench. You
Yeah.
don't drop them.
I'm 100% for drop. I see Jamal chiming in. He dropped Patrick Mahomes. I
We're
wish I
talking
was
about
in that
Jamal.
league because I would pick him up.
Yeah.
But I
What league
can.
is that, Jamal?
Yeah, he said he has Jaden. In a one quarterback league, I would definitely bench Patrick Mahomes, especially if I had someone like Jaden Daniels was actually producing. But there's no way in the world I'm dropping Patrick Mahomes because
No.
he ain't gonna stay available for too long because he's still Patrick Mahomes, and we're at the midpoint of the fantasy football season. And just like I said, it's not too late for you to turn your team fantasy football around. Even if your team is worse than your wife's, you can still turn things around. But Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs can still turn things around because, hey, weren't we just a year ago saying, wow, the Chiefs have lost it. They don't have wide receivers. Patrick Mahomes isn't doing,
Yeah,
et
you
cetera, et
sure.
cetera. And then
Everybody
they
was saying that
hit that
mess.
switch mid-season, and you start them getting better. I think Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey, I said I was going to come back to Kelsey. I think they're going to get better. And especially now that they have DeAndre Hopkins there, as long as he can play, I think they're gonna be doggone fine. And invite me to that league where you drop Patrick Mahomes, Jamal, because I'm
You
trying to
ain't
pick him
lying.
up. I need to add him to my league. Now, a player I'm disappointed in, other than the two I mentioned, has been Justin Herbert. But that's, again, I told you, this one is your fault because you made me
How
believe
is
that I
that my
could trust
fault?
Justin Herbert when I said I
I
think
did
they're gonna.
not do that. You went in there
Did you not
and
earlier
said,
in the show just say they just started allowing Justin Herbert to throw the ball, which is different than what you said in the offseason when you made me believe that I was downgrading Justin Herbert too much. So I'm
well,
gonna blame
well,
you.
well, I was thinking that they would throw the ball more than what they did.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't win like that on a consistent basis, not throwing the football. Like it doesn't make sense
yeah,
at all.
I agree.
Um, so to me, I think it's dumb. Like they need to throw the ball. They lost this week,
They have
yes,
to.
but they gotta throw the
Look,
football.
look,
Like I get it.
they're almost as bad as the Raiders, and that lets you know you're pretty doggone bad. So they need to start throwing the ball more, and that'll open things up for the rest of the offense. Even though they don't really have a good set of wide receivers, Luke McConkey's their best one. He's a rookie, um, so I can see relying on the run, and that's the Harbaugh method of football. So I get it, but yeah, hopefully we'll see Justin
But
Herbert do a little bit more. Yeah,
but you don't win like that. That's the thing. You don't win games. Like this is a passing league, whether
yeah.
you believe it or not. It's a passing league. You gotta throw the football to win. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's crazy. But I have a surprise
Before you get your
fantasy.
surprise, Jamal saying it was an 18 PPR league that he dropped Mahomes and he's available 2 weeks. But if it's 8 teams, then
Yeah.
There you go.
I still would put him on the
bench. If it's 8 teams, you're gonna have some really good players on waivers just because it's just not enough unless you have like some incredibly large roster. So, okay, I still keep Mahomes.
Yeah.
What you got?
So I have another surprise guy, fantasy wise.
Okay.
Geno Smith.
A good one.
He
was one of my surprise guys.
Killing it right now. And a lot of people don't respect Geno. But Seattle throws the ball a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a whole lot. And he's throwing. They say he's the leading passer right now in the NFL.
I'll tell you some numbers: 1,985 yards and 9 touchdowns combined. That Geno Smith has right now. There was talk in the offseason that he might lose that job. I actually got Geno Smith in a trade in the offseason in our Dynasty League for the low because somebody was down on him. And it's paying off. I might have to bench Geno for Caleb Williams, my dude. But, for now, Geno's has been quite surprising this season.
This guy can't stop, yo. He is going in by these Commanders. Ooh, Lord of mercy.
But continue with surprise players. I love the Geno Smith pick. Like I said, he was on my list. I'm going to say another guy who I think is quite surprising, Chuba Hubbard. Another guy who was supposed to lose his job.
He started slow though.
He started slow, but if you picked up Hubbard, he's probably won you a few games. 537 yards, 4 touchdowns. I don't know how much you can depend on this for the season, but at this midpoint, I want to give him some love while I still can.
They got Jonathan Brooks coming back, so
exactly. That's why I say while I still can, because I might not be able to give him
honestly,
love.
I don't think. Me personally, you don't put him on the bench because he's been playing so well.
Yeah,
I find it hard for them to put him on the bench after he's been playing this well. You got to play, but either you can play both of them, or you could commit to one of them. But Jonathan Brooks is a rookie and he's supposed to be that good. We gonna see.
You don't find out.
We'll find out. So.
But to answer the question, should you start the Commanders defense? I don't say I've started them this week, but I am looking forward to that game because the Commanders are playing Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. So we're going to see a rookie quarterback face-off. These are 2 of the best quarterbacks for the rookie class. Not the only good one because we're talking surprising. Bo Nix has been quite surprising as a rookie quarterback. But I'm looking forward to this Commanders-Bears game. Who you got winning that, and would you start the Commanders defense against this new-look Bears?
So now if I say what you think I'm going to say, I'm a hater.
I want you to say the truth as you see it.
Because I know how you are when it comes to, that guy. But I'm going to go with the Commanders. I think the Commanders win this week. Not saying that the quarterback doesn't play good, but I'm rolling with the Commanders this week. I like the way they playing. They're confident, and I just feel like if Jaden play, Jaden will do what he do anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm rolling with. I'm a Jaden guy, so I got to roll with Jaden on this week. I'm rolling with Washington.
I've got no problem at all picking the Commanders with that one and Jaden because that should be a really good matchup.
Yeah, I'm rolling with Jaden this week.
I'm gonna roll with the Bears coming off a bye week. Eberflus isn't one of my favorite coaches, but they've had some time to put together a really good plan, and this is gonna be 2 really good defenses going at it. The quarterbacks I think are really good too. I think this game could go either way. Really. So I'm not mad either way. The Commanders wouldn't be my first choice to start as a defense, though. I kind of want to sit this one out because I can see the potential for this game to maybe not be the best defensively because sometimes you have these 2 teams, and even when the defenses are good, sometimes the points come out of control, and these are 2 really good quarterbacks, so I'd probably sit this one out and say no, unless the Commanders are my best choice, which go for it if you got it.
Go for it if you got it.
But there you go.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, We talked about your least uh, 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 productive guy. We talked about some surprise guys. I have a special category. I don't know where he fits. So I'm just gonna say award I'm giving out because I need one last award to give out. And
Okay.
that's
All right. Where we going at?
a kicker. That's right, the
Woo!
kicker
Go
award.
my
For the
kickers!
first
Woo!
time in the
Woo!
history of RJ Fantasy Football Talk, I'm gonna give some love to a kicker.
Let's
and I'm
go.
gonna say we're gonna invent the new
No, we not.
Brandon
We're not.
Aubrey
No, no.
Award because Brandon Aubrey is outscoring. He almost just this past week when he was on bye, Patrick Mahomes finally has some more fantasy points than Brandon Aubrey has. Aubrey has been that dude, and we have a guy in one of our leagues who picked Aubrey the first, what was it, like the 6th or 7th? I can't remember what round.
6 or 7
Yeah.
rounds.
He picked Aubrey, and we laughed. Rightfully so, because that's
And
still too early to
you
pick
know
a
what?
kicker.
We
But
still
he is
laugh
putting
because
up
hold up.
big
Wait a
numbers.
minute. We still laugh because you know why? You know what place
His
is
team is terrible.
No, wait a minute. Don't you know? There's
Go
no
ahead.
excuse for that. No, it's not. No. I'm gonna tell you why. Because you know where he's sitting at right now? He is sitting in 9th place right now, getting Aubrey at 6th round. No, you don't do that now. We are not doing that. I like Aubrey because I got him on my team.
Yeah, I
But
got
I'm
all.
just saying-
Yo, true story, and our producer will vouch for me. I had 2 kickers on my team this past week, but I refused to drop Brandon Aubrey.
Me too. I did the same thing. I did the same
Like,
thing.
no.
Because I said you never keep 2 kickers. What's going on
I never
with
keep
you?
2 kickers. And in one of our leagues, somebody dropped Brandon Aubrey. I picked him up with a quick. I didn't even know who my original kicker was ordered by way, so I had no kicker, no idea who I was gonna start. But I was like, I'm gonna work something out because there's no way I'm gonna go without Brandon Aubrey if he's available to me. So, yo, Brandon Aubrey gets the award, and I see Jamal talking about Chris Boswell, who definitely has been bananas. I'm waiting for your boy Brian Bland to come in. Austin Siebert.
I love Siebert. Yo,
Siebert's been in. I have him
Yo.
on one of my teams as well.
Let me tell you, I picked up
Yeah.
Siebert and have never dropped. As a matter of fact, Siebert is never leaving my roster, even
Yeah.
on the bad week. I
This
will
is-
put him. I would get another kicker first.
I have
and
never
put him on
been
the
this
back.
consistent. You know how I play just like you. Week to week, I'm switching out kickers and defenses. I have kept kickers on my roster this year like I have never done in fantasy football. Look, it might be why my teams all suck. I don't care. I'm gonna let these kickers go.
I got Washington kicker in like
Yeah.
3 leagues, and I refuse. I am not dropping him when he go on the bye. He's
Yeah.
gonna be on the bench. I will pick up another kicker and drop somebody else.
Mhm.
He's giving me like 10 to 15 points a game.
Yeah.
Guys. I'm not dropping him. He can forget it.
Like
So
that.
no.
Yeah, so
But we're not
once
making no
again, you
award for
can't
kickers.
talk about
We-
kickers
This
no
is the
more.
kicker award day. It's just gonna
Oh
be
my
me
God.
and the producer
Please don't
giving
do
out the kicker
We're
award.
not doing it. No.
Yes.
It's
No.
too late. He already gave
The-
it out.
the
What you
award's
talking
been
about not doing it? It's been done.
You
Oh.
can't undo. Look,
All
so
right.
let it be written. So let it be done.
Okay.
I'm with you. Let's go.
Okay. Hey, I ain't gonna lie. You know what? In the Dynasty League,
Oh,
my
that
kicker,
league.
my kicker had 61 points in the
Exactly.
Dynasty League this week.
For-
He
for-
won me. He didn't win me the game, but he put me over 400.
No.
So you know what?
For those
Whatever.
in the league that's like, wait, how many points did he just say? We have
61.
designed, Rodney and I put together this dynasty team with the concept that, you know,
Kickers
because it's
need
usually
love.
your quarterbacks that dominant league. We wanted a league where every player can contribute. Everybody can be your leading scorer. Defensive players and kickers get some astronomical points in this
Yes,
league.
they do.
It
Yes.
still ends up that quarterbacks are the top players. It's either quarterbacks or running backs typically, but kickers get more love in this league than they would in a typical league because it matches what happens in the NFL. NFL kickers are always one of the top scorers. Why not also in fantasy? I think I mentioned that a few weeks ago as well. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good league, though. We put a
It's a
league
great
together.
league.
It's a good
It's a
league.
great league.
Yeah, it's a great league.
Look,
So yeah.
neither one of us has won it since we started it, but you know we're making some ground.
I'm working
Make-
on it. I'm
Yeah.
working
Our
on
producers
it.
has the best shot at it this year. So
Yeah.
if we can't, I hope my wife can be the fantasy football champion.
Yo.
I'm
That comment
working
was
on it.
wicked,
I'm
bro.
working so hard. But I'm gonna tell you right now, whenever Lamar and Derrick Henry going by, I'm losing. I'm not dropping. I'm not picking up. So whoever plays me, I'm letting you know you gonna win that week because I'm not going to pick up some scrub-tastic quarterback and some scrub-tastic running back just to fill my roster. I will leave them suckers right in there with bye 0 points, and we'll keep it pushing. So whatever week they go on by, guess what happens? Yeah. You're gonna win. So you all out there, look and see who plays me that week, because that is a W for you. I am not getting no scrub-tastic quarterback. I kid you not. All right, I'm done. That's all I got.
And that's all I got too.
That's all I got. I'm down.
Well, hey, easy. As always, thanks everybody for being part of the conversation. Thanks for joining us. If you got questions or anything else you want to throw at us, hit us up on social media. Leave a comment in the chat. We'll try to get back with you. Good luck in the second half of this season. I'm going from 0-7 to 4-7 in the next few weeks. So we'll have a three-quarter mark report, and I'll let you know.
Oh, we have to toast with some sparkling cider.
Oh yeah, we'll have to have a celebration on that one. Before we go, one last comment. Hey, basketball season started. You into it yet? I saw the Bulls just won.
Or we didn't win.
Yeah, didn't they? No. I've been trying to check my notifications as we've been going. Yeah, they won by 1 point.
Man, we lost tonight. What are you talking about?
The Bulls just won 81-80. I'm looking at my phone. No, so
we just lost to the Pelicans, man. We lost.
I'm literally looking at it. Final score. Chicago 81, New Orleans 80. They just won.
I'm telling you, look at it.
Hold on, why does mine say final?
What are you looking at, man?
Oh, it does have on ESPN that the Bulls won, but then they have the Pelicans highlighted. So 80's more than 81? Because I have the
right
same
here.
thing.
It says 81-80.
I'm telling you what I got right here.
I don't know. Our phones are debating each other.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you, mine says the same thing.
Yeah. I'm just telling you, maybe we lost.
Maybe there's a glitch in the matrix. I don't know what's happening right now. Cause here's what's crazy. I'm looking at my. It says 81-80, but if you look at the bottom of this chart, it has the Pelicans winning. So.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I know. I just got the alert that we lost.
ESPN, fix your app. There you go.
That's why I don't use ESPN no more. I don't use it no more.
Anyway, if you're into it, good luck to your NBA teams. Good luck to your fantasy football teams.
Hey, good luck to hockey too.
Good luck to your hockey squads.
Hockey shout out. Yeah. Oh, we play each other this week, by the way.
Yeah, we have to. I'm playing the producer, Brian, in case you care, in our fantasy hockey league, and she's probably going to beat me in that one too. It's all
good. Lord have mercy. It's tough sledding for you over there. I tell you,
it's all good. It's all good. Look. We're family, so when one of us wins, we all win.
We all win.
There you go. All right, everybody.
Oh no, that
Peace
fantasy
out.
one I'm not sharing.
All right.
Later.